Welcome to another episode of What Pharma Needs Next, the podcast for the pharmaceutical industry. Today, we want to tackle a big topic, connected data and connected software. My huge pleasure to have an esteemed guest, Stefan Schmidt, the Digital Capability Lead Field Engagement from Bayer. Welcome, Stefan.
Thank you.
Now, Stefan, you are very experienced in the industry and in technology. You spent 2 decades in IT, 1 decade in life sciences. Tell us a little bit, what were some of the key moments that you lived through where technology shift happened and what that meant for you?
So I started about 20 years ago as a consultant working in different projects in different industries. For me, it was a huge change to move into the life science industry and to Bayer at a point in time when everyone was moving applications into the cloud.
So the move to the cloud was one of those moments where things fundamentally changed, right?
Yes, I think so.
What is it that motivates you today in your current role as the digital lead for field engagement at Bayer?
Now we are seeing another huge change, not only in our industry, but beyond. And that is the power of AI that comes into our systems, into our processes, and opens up completely new possibilities to work in the future.
AI being a real paradigm shift. If you just compare that maybe to the shift to cloud, how big is the shift now with AI?
The shift might be similarly big, but the speed is way faster.
Okay. Stefan, you led a huge modernization effort at Bayer. From your point of view, what was the single most challenging thing to unify? Was it the software? Was it the data? Was it the processes? Where would you place your finger on?
Fortunately, we managed already by the rollout of Veeva CRM to have globally harmonized processes and bringing all of our markets onto one solution, but data is still a challenge and has ever been. Multiple countries were on different data sets, and now especially with AI coming into our life, data is getting even more important than it was before, because AI can also only create good results if it's based on good data. AI is not doing some sort of magic. AI is allowing us to be more focused, more personalized, way faster than we were before, but data is the foundation to make it happen.
So you would argue that data is actually one of the most important ones to focus on because of AI, and we're going to explore the AI angle a bit more. So let's stay a little bit with the CRM migration. And for context, Bayer committed to move to Vault CRM globally, and you've rolled out Vault CRM in most of your markets now. You just went live in Japan with no disruption, so that's a massive achievement. Can you walk us through a little bit through your experiences with the rollout? What were some of the hottest or closest moments, some of the most exciting experiences you had in the last month?
We started our Vault migration with the US as one of our key markets. We had the target to be done with the Vault migration before US jumps into a longer period of product launches. So that was our challenge, to bring Vault CRM to the US in order to be able to leverage the new innovations coming from Veeva on the new platform already for our launches. Especially the event management topic was quite crucial, because event management in the US is very specific, different compared to other markets. And the second thing is, we also had to ensure that all of the downstream system work smoothly as they did before, without even recognizing such a huge change of the CRM system.
Was there a situation where you say, "Oh, I hope that doesn't happen again," or any huge time pressures or other pressures you had faced during the migration?
Definitely a big learning is the change to direct data API, especially looking at the downstream systems. Direct data API finally enabled us to make it happen, to manage the huge data volumes that we need to make available in our downstream systems. And without, I would have had some serious concerns if we can really make it happen.
Okay. Glad that direct data API saved the day, so to say. Let's talk a little bit about trusted reference data, Stefan. Core of your foundation that you've built now is trusted reference data. Why is having globally harmonized and high quality reference data for HCPs so important for what you try to do to design an intelligent foundation for your business?
Yeah, to have unified reference data makes it simply easier to define use cases that you want to bring to the markets to increase business value, to increase speed. And if we do have unified data, we do not need to start from scratch over and over again. It makes it also easier when we want to leverage AI to a higher extent than we do right now, because AI is based on the data that we do have available, and we need to train the AI on the data that we do have available. And if the data is unified, we save a lot of time and avoid doing it over and over again, just to reflect different data sets and different data structures.
So it's important because you save time and because you save resources, as you say, right? Because you don't need to do the job over and over again. As one of the kind of the outcomes of the standardization on open data, but also the Vault CRM move, you were able to build a customer 360 dashboard. What was the problem you had before, and what kind of did the customer 360 finally solve for the business?
So for the time being, and we just launched the first version of our Customer 360, it's not including any information that we didn't have available before, but it's nicely connecting the information from multiple sources, be it CRM itself, be it open data, be it Veeva Link, at a glance for the user to provide a comprehensive overview about a certain customer. What are the things that are really important? What are the insights that matter most? This information had to be searched in multiple places in the system before, and now we can really make it available at a glance to provide a very speedy and very to-the-point overview on what is important.
How much is this helpful for the business? Because can they do things now that they couldn't do before?
I believe it helps them a lot to prepare for conversations with the customer. However, on the other hand side, what we have now developed in a very short period of time is only the beginning. With Vault CRM, we want to move from a system of records to a system of insights. What we have as of today in that dashboard is just the beginning. We now want to bring additional information also from external sources, information that our users did not have available before, so that they can improve their interactions with the customers, provide more insights, provide more valuable information to better treat patients.
Exciting times ahead for the users at Bayer once Customer 360 becomes even more attractive to them. I want to touch upon the topic of AI. You mentioned it a couple of times. With the foundation now built, AI becomes tangible reality, right? So you're doubling down on that quite a bit at Bayer. To build quick adoption, where did you find the high impact use cases that you wanted to go after in the first place?
We started with use cases in the light of new product launches. How can we find AI-supported ways of bringing all relevant information about the diseases, but also the new products to the users to enable them as quick as possible, educate also our customers and bring the right information in time to the users where they can exercise at their convenience. With AI-supported tools, we do have, for example, a QA assistant that helps our users to build up knowledge in a way that is way more convenient, way more faster, and also allows for way more repetition than we were able to provide before.
Where do you see kind of the next wave going? What are some of the areas that you feel are gonna receive AI in the future?
Yeah, I do believe we need to free up our valuable resources to focus as much as possible on our customer interactions, on bringing the right information at the right point in time to our customers, and remove all of the administrative burden that our users are facing from the users, and leverage AI in an augmented way in the beginning, but in the future maybe even in an agentic way to focus on the personal interaction.
So taking away most of the administrative tasks so your colleagues can focus on what really matters, is engaging, for example, with a customer or other high-value tasks. Stefan, there is one last question, which we ask all of our podcast guests. It's the stop-start challenge. If there was one thing that we could stop doing in this industry, in the life science and pharma industry, and one thing we should start or could start doing, what would those two things be?
Now, I hope the industry is not trying to just put AI on top of the current go-to-market models. I hope the industry is now starting to define new processes on how to support customers and patients best with the help of AI.
A great goal, and we'll discuss more about embedded agentic AI and how it can transform workflows. For the time being, Stefan, thank you very much for being a guest on this podcast. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.